Hello, it is I, your Senpai. Welcome back to Novel in a Year. This is week 22. So this week what we're going to be covering is how not to be discouraged and a topic that was explained to me as the power of zero. So if you're following my diaries right now, you know that I tanked majorly a couple days ago this week, and I wrote only 4 words and had a lot to make up, but I had a small cushion from when I had written the night before. And I will admit, when I got to my computer the next day, I was kind of upset. I was pretty upset with myself for not having written more, because now I have all these words that I need to catch up on and not enough time. I work during the day. I'm gone almost 10 hours, sometimes more if traffic's really bad. So it's a real time crunch when I get home and have to make that word deadline. Now, if you are watching my my diaries, you'll know that I'm now only writing for 2 hours a day, and whatever I write, that's it. And that is because of this topic that I'm going to talk about today. So, fun story. Let's go back to high school, Senpai. The emo days. I was in math class, and it was like the beginning of the year. And my math teacher, whose name I will not say, we'll call him Mr. N, he said, "It is very important that you turn in your assignments, even if they're not complete, even if you don't think you did a good job." And of course everybody was like, why is that a thing you would do? Like, if our stuff is all messed up, why would we turn it in? Everybody wants, good grades. And he said, turning something bad in is way better than turning in nothing at all. Accepting a 60% versus a 0% is so much better. That 0 will take your grade so far down, and there were kids that, could not redeem that grade. It was always just super bad because they wouldn't turn in assignments. At least if you took the 60%, you could work off of that. And it wasn't just a constant 0, 0, 0, 0. All that to say, if you're writing 4 words a day, you're working at least a little bit, even though 4 was a little ridiculous. Even if you only write 100 words a day, 50 words, 25 words a day, you're chipping that little bit towards your story. And that's so important. And I think that little bit can really keep you motivated. Like, no, maybe I didn't write 2,000 words today, but I did write something today. And that's kind of part of what this challenge is. At least for me, I'm not writing all year long. I'm planning what I'll do. I have all these story ideas that eventually I want to write out. Probably not in this lifetime. There's a lot. Even if you're writing just a little bit. Yes, hello. Hello, little girl. So even if you're writing like 25 words a day, you're still writing something. And you're moving forward, even if it's a baby step. I think it's hard to forget that there's always days that you can make up. For me, I don't work Saturdays and Sundays, so I can take those days and write as much as I need to. There's always days where you can take a break. You don't constantly have to be working. And I think it's important to remember that this is a challenge. Like I said last week, this is not a punishment for you. This is not, you gotta write this novel or else. This is, can you write this novel? It doesn't have to be 50,000 words. I think you could split it, honestly, you could split it into 2 months. You could only do half the goal. You can do a quarter of the goal. You can beef that up if you eventually want this to be a novel. What you write typically is not what makes it to the final drafts. You can beef it up, you can take stuff away, you can revise. Maybe you have another idea that you can add in there. Maybe you have an entirely different idea that changes so many things about your story. I don't think it's fair for you to be hung up on a word count or a time limit. I think you need to, mostly, as cheesy as it sounds, to have fun, because that's what this is supposed to be. This is supposed to be a fun challenge. And I know I have myself kind of gotten tangled up in this. What am I gonna do? I have to write like 2,000 words tonight. I don't know if I'll have time. I'm gonna have to stay up late. And I didn't want a repeat of 2017, where I was pretty literally living off mochas and bubblegum. There was a lot of nights I like wouldn't eat food. Mostly just like, not because I was like, no food, only writing, punishment. It's more like I was so excited to write that I just forgot. I was excited to write the story, but I was so focused on it and was like, really, I gotta publish this. I want to sell this book. It's going to be a big seller. I was so desperate. I was just in this mind frame for money. That will always kick you. The universe will always kick you for that. Don't do it. Don't do it. I follow so many people here on AuthorTube, as we're calling it, that have such amazing ideas, such amazing drives. There's so many different people out there that are writing. We all have our different ways of going about the goal. We all have different jobs in our lives that we're working toward. And we are amazing. It's so amazing that you're writing a novel. Just the fact that you're attempting it. There are so many people that I know that would love to be out there and writing a novel, but don't feel like they have the creative drive, or don't feel like they have a story that's worth telling. And it's really hard to get past that first step, that, can I write this? Should I write this? Is it worth writing? Is it good enough? Are people gonna like it? And it's so easy to get caught up in that you don't wind up writing at all. And so the fact that you got this far, and we're 2 weeks in now, and you haven't given up yet, or at least I assume so. If you're watching this video, it's easy to say for other people that there's nothing new under the sun, and that your story will never be original, that it's already been done before. But that's not really true. Nobody can do it the way that you can do it. Your story has to be told by you. That's why it's in your head. I know in the past that I too have had ideas that I was so in love with and I'd never seen anywhere before, and nobody could possibly take this from me. And in a matter of a year or so, people started coming up with the same things I was coming up with, or my story sounded too much like Cinderella or Beauty and the Beast, and it was becoming discouraging because I thought maybe there isn't anything new that I can do. There's no new concept that I can create, and maybe not. Nobody's done it like this, at least that I've seen. I also haven't been in the book world for a while. I haven't been in the comic world for that long. What makes it unique is you. You're the unique factor of whatever you're writing. And there's so much to make. I'm pretty not great at motivating people. I don't know that I'm really great at motivating myself either. But I hope these are things that you remember. And I think it's super important to have fun while you're doing this. These are your characters. This is your story. This is your world. It's in your head. You get to write it. that's pretty cool. Don't forget to take notes. It's still very important, even while you're writing, to take notes. It's important to write out things even if they're not in chronological order, because the seed's not here now. But it will be, eventually, unless you decide to scrap it later. But assuming you're not, please take notes. Remember that your story is amazing. And one day, when it's on the bookshelf, you're gonna be like, at Sleepy Senpai, check this out, and I'm gonna buy your book and read it. Because it's awesome that you wrote that. It's amazing. If you are following this process and you want to share with me, go ahead and tag me in any of my social media links down below with hashtag Sleepy Senpai Novel in a Year, or I think we did hashtag Sleepy Senpai NaNoWriMo 2019. You tag me, I'll find it. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you tomorrow, I guess. I'm not used to this. Alright, bye!